Yo, what is up guys? It's Pedro here, and in today's video I will be talking about the expectations for Commanders quarterback Carson Wentz in the 2022 NFL season. What does Carson Wentz need to do for the Washington Commanders to have a successful season? So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe for Washington and NFL content on the road to 9,000 subscribers. Also hit that like button and turn on those notifications so you never miss a video. And make sure to check out Real Time Fantasy Sports, link in the description. So let's just start off with this. I think Carson Wentz is one of the most overhated quarterbacks in the league. I mean, when people talk about this man, whether it be fans, of NFL teams in general, besides the Commanders, or national media, they act like he's like a bottom 5, bottom 7 QB in the league, when that's not even close to being true. They act like he's, in the same tier as guys like Sam Darnold, Marcus Mariota, Daniel Jones, and it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. People think he's terrible when he's not. Is he the best quarterback in the NFL? No. Is he a top 10 quarterback? Not in my opinion. But I think he's anywhere from you could say slightly below average to a little bit of above average at times, depending on the season. Last year was kind of average. The year before, really, really bad. And then the last 3 years before that, really good. So, he's pretty inconsistent, but for the most part, he's about an average. Like the last few years, he's been like an average quarterback. If you take the average of the last 3 years, he's about average. So, and that's much better than what we've had the last few years. So let's kind of talk about expectations for Carson Wentz this year and what he needs to do for the Commanders to have a successful season. So, I know all of you guys know, but just as a background, last year Carson Wentz played in all 17 games, started all of them, had 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 3,563 yards, 94.6 passer rating, and I've had 5 fumbles lost, which, a little bit, that's something he could work on. But for the most part, and had 1 rushing touchdown and 215 yards. So had a pretty solid season, but a lot of people will point to, his last, game didn't step up, but you can argue the same thing about the run game, the defense, etc. So that is just something to keep in mind. And I think if Carson Wentz can have a similar season to what he had last year, just be a little bit more consistent and a little more clutch in those, clutch moments. And I think that'll really, really be good for the Commanders. If he can go out there and maybe throw for 28, 29 touchdowns and 8, 9 picks, I think that will be a successful season. 30 touchdowns, 10 picks, I think that will be a successful season. Carson Wentz, honestly, you look at his stats, besides his first year, which again, understandable, and 2020, he's thrown 7 interceptions every single year. So I expect it to be in that 6 to maybe 10 interception range. I think that's, reasonable to expect from Carson Wentz. And then the touchdowns, it'll probably be in that 25 to maybe 30, 31 range because, when he's been healthy, like when he's played every game, he's thrown, last year he played in every game, threw about 27 touchdowns. 2018 played in 11 games and had 21. So I think it's reasonable to expect about 25 to 30 touchdowns from him. And if he can do that, I think that would be really good for the Commanders offense because that's much better than what they've had the last few years. And that's kind of my expectations for him. Don't try to be a little bit more consistent. And, you don't need to make those hero plays that, sometimes he feels like he needs to. If nothing's open, just throw it out of bounds. Don't get sacked. Don't force a throw. And I feel like if he can do that, Washington will improve immensely on the offensive side. You look at Taylor Heinicke, if you want to compare him to Taylor Heinicke. Last year, Heinicke played in 16 games, 65% completion percentage, 3,400 yards, 20 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, and an 86 pass rating. So, really good for a backup, in my opinion. Even, he could be a low-tier starter in the NFL, one of those guys like Marcus Mariota, guys like that. But I think Carson Wentz is a significant upgrade, and he needs to play like that. Those are the expectations for him. Play significantly better than what Heinicke did for the Commanders last year, and if he does that, I think the Commanders will add at least a couple wins to their win total from last year. So he's got to play a decent amount better than what Heinicke did last year. Even if he plays a little bit better than he did last year, I think that'll help out the Commanders a lot. Just can put up similar stats, but maybe again a little bit more consistent. That'll help out the team, and then also a little bit more clutch. And, that will really benefit the Commanders. You look at their offense last year, I believe in terms of yards, they're ranked 21st. So if Carson Wentz can do what I said, what his expectations are, then I think they can be a top 15 offense. I mean, improve 6 spots, just from adding Carson Wentz, I think they can. You also add Jahan Dotson, hopefully add in a Curtis Samuel, and, run game might be a little bit better. Offensive line around the same. We'll see, our tight end room is going to be better because Logan Thompson's probably going to be healthy for the most part of the season. He wasn't in almost all of last year. Then you got John Bates in his second year, Cole Turner, guys like that. So I think this offense can be top 15, maybe even top 12. And the ceiling, I would say, is top 10, maybe 9 or 8 for this year. But maybe after that, they can be a little bit better. And the offense might start out a little bit slow because, again, this is Wentz's first year in the system. Might take a little bit longer for him to learn it. But by week 4, week 5, week 6, I think he should be good and playing like he did last year. And yeah, I just think the hate, with Carson Wentz is just absolutely ridiculous. I don't care how misleading some stats can be because people are always 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, those stats are deceiving. And hey, it might be a little bit deceiving, but you can't tell me, no guy with 4 touchdown to 1 interception ratio is a scrub. You can't tell me he's in the same category. Daniel Jones, Mariota, Trubisky, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, there's a bunch of people that rank Wentz behind a lot of those guys. And just not even close. He's better than all those guys, in my opinion, by a lot. And he's better than some of the other guys as well that people debate. I think it's debatable between who's better, Wentz or Baker Mayfield. I would probably take Wentz, but I understand some people who will take Baker Mayfield. But some of these guys, like I said, those bottom tier guys, Wentz is way, way, way better than those guys. I would take Wentz over Jalen Hurts. I think Wentz is, I would say probably a 16 to 21 guy. In that range, that's kind of where I would put Wentz. I'm not putting him top 10 or top 15 because, he hasn't really shown that over the last couple years, but I think that he is a quarterback you can win with. And, he has shown in the past that he can be a quarterback that wins for you, that carries a team on his back like he did in 2017, 2019 for sure. So, yeah, that is it for today's video. Let me know what you guys think about Carson Wentz. Give me your stat predictions for him in this year. I'll go just to have the first quarterback to throw 30 touchdowns in a while. I'll go 30 touchdowns and 10 interceptions for Carson Wentz with 4,050 passing yards, which will be the most in his career. And I'll go I'll go 2 rushing touchdowns and about 250 rushing yards. And let's see, what's the completion percentage? I'll just throw out 64, 65. So that's kind of my predictions for Carson Wentz. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below your expectations for Wentz, your stat predictions, and everything like that. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and peace.